Okay, welcome everybody. Let's start again. Please welcome Niels van Hoorn on the stage presenting Framer.
Thank you.
Come on, clap, man.
Ouch. I still need to have to set up. I don't have my presenter display. I should have checked. Sorry. Yes, this is better. Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Niels van Hoorn at NVH on Twitter. And I'm a product engineer at Framer, which is based in Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So I'm most happy knee-deep in code, but this is not going to be a technical talk. Today I want to talk about prototyping. So let's do a show of hands. Who here is an engineer? Cool. You can pick more than one. So who here is a designer? So there's like a couple of them. And who here is a product designer? So also like a few. Cool. I wanted to make 2 points. First off, what it means to be a designer is changing in a huge way. And I mean not only the scope, like what is being designed, but also the profession and the deliverables that designers produce. Usually design is interpreted as visual design, but many engineers I know are great product designers as well. So you might not be able to draw the nicest icons, but you solve hard interaction problems to provide solutions for real problems with technology. And we all know that the best products are made with a collaboration between engineering and design. So design is changing. How exactly? Well, as a design, we need more than just a static image of an app. We care about not only how it looks, but also how it feels. And it even goes beyond that. We need to test things out before we actually build them. And that's why I think there's a prototyping revolution going on. So, have you ever had this moment that you were really happy because you implemented a feature, and then you show it to your designer, and he goes like, well, that's not really what I meant. And then the proposed modifications require fundamental changes to the abstractions you've chosen. I certainly had this, and I bet some of you recognize this as well. So, let's look at an example. The interaction of changing the order of items in a list. Describing exactly how it should work is difficult to get right in words. You might have an idea about how this is supposed to work, but it's totally possible that someone else has a different interpretation of it. So then you can create a quick sketch, and that helps, but it still leaves many questions unanswered. Then you could go and create a static mock-up, but that shifts the conversation towards the visual design. So you get feedback on the shading or the color of the item or the proportions, and not on the way it works. An interactive prototype, however, brings clarity and gets everybody on the same page on how it should feel. Prototypes give you a way to test something before you actually build the real thing. And I think that prototyping is just design. As the design process has changed, prototyping has become a fundamental part of it. So, as engineers, we already prototype a lot of code, and have been doing that for a long time. Because for us, that just means trying stuff out. If you're stuck implementing a complicated UIKit API, it helps to create a new project or an Xcode playground, to play around with it in a confined environment. And in a way, test-driven development is a way to test out and specify what we are going to build before we're actually building it. But it even goes beyond that for engineers. We also see it in the programming languages that we use. We have been developing different languages with different trade-offs. So a strictly typed language like Swift is great for robustness and stability, while a forgiving and more untyped language like JavaScript makes it easier to hack something together quickly. And a pure functional language like Haskell is really good in concurrency, but it's more difficult to have side effects like reading and writing files. All programming languages make trade-offs between things like build speed, correctness, learning curve, and maintainability. So what have we learned from building these tools, especially for trying new design ideas quickly? Well, first we need to get started fast. And that not only means like I want to open up a new document quickly, but also I need a quick way to do standard things like table views or tab events or scrolling behavior or animations. Secondly, I want to have direct feedback. So I want to change stuff around quickly, but then immediately see the results of my changes. And in that, nothing be direct manipulation, like directly dragging the stuff I want to position. The third thing is that we need a contained environment. If you test an API, you don't need all the libraries and dependencies. And in design, that means you don't have to prototype the complete app, but you can test out just single features by using a mock or screenshots for the rest of the app. And lastly, we want to develop in the same context. So we need to test the ideas on the device you're actually designing it for. So let's look at some examples of what engineers have created with these ideas in mind. Already in the 80s, people were building things like the Smalltalk programming language and hypercard programming tools. And that led the way for some later experiments by people like Brad Victor, who has done some great research in this area. He has some great demos on his website. I really would recommend you to check it out. It's on worrydream.com. But more recently, Apple has developed great tools for this as well. It started with Xcode playgrounds, which they brought to iOS. And I really recommend you to play around with it, if you haven't already. Because the thing of playing around with code is that you start with the assumption that you're going to throw it away. And this frees up the feeling that you have to do it right and gives you the possibility to explore more creatively. So I work at Framer, so I should mention that as well, I think. But we really do believe that Framer is a great way for both engineers and designers to quickly try out interactive ideas. And that is because it was completely based on the ideas I just mentioned. So what is Framer exactly? It's a code-based design tool. So it's built out of two parts. It's an open source JavaScript library that implements the building blocks for your design. And it's a Mac app. That's an IDE for that library that gets you started real quickly so you can focus on the design process. So I'm going to give you a demo, and I'm going to do three scary things. First of all, I'm going to do live coding. Then I'm not going to care about code quality because I'm prototyping and it's just like throwaway code. And the third thing I'm going to do is use an unreleased version of Framer. We will be releasing this in the coming week, so please don't take any pictures just yet. So this is Framer. We have the code here on the left. Oh yeah, sure, thanks. There we go. So I guess this is visible now, but I should crank up the font, probably. Is this readable? Okay. So we have the code on the left, which is CoffeeScript, which is like something that compiles into JavaScript. And then we have the preview window here on the right, and we can see here that it actually, prints out Hello World. And this preview window is just a web view, so it's portable by default. You can use it on any device that has a browser. So let's create something with this and start with a new layer. And let's call that layer, because we don't care about code quality, we don't care about variable naming, we're just prototyping. So let's make that layer draggable. And now we can see that we can actually drag this layer around. And we even have some physics, like I can quickly draw it around. And it can go off the screen. Well, we don't really want that, so let's say that we want this layer to be constrained by the screen.size. So now you can drag it around, but you can't drag it across the screen borders, and it will nicely bounce against it. So that's cool, but let's have some more interaction. So let's say that on drag end, we want to do something. For example, like change the background color of the layer to some random color. So now every time I end dragging, it will actually change color. And let's do some more, like add an animation to this for the rotation, for example, and then say that the layer.rotation plus 90. So every time we end dragging, it will rotate the layer by 90 degrees. So this is really easy and really nice if you're prototyping an app with boxes that should change color, but let's look at a more real example. So imagine that you have like a couple of screens that you just want to quickly put together to prototype your design. We're going to prototype that for an iPhone. We have a bunch of devices built in with the right screen resolutions. So what you can do is just like grab these screens, grab these screens and drop them into Framer. So what this will do, it will copy the files into your project and create a new layer with the right dimensions for every screen that you have. So now let's create a new flow component. Oh, is this readable? Maybe I should do it like this. And let's tell the flow component to show the first screen. Okay, now we can add some interaction. Like say, if we click the first screen, then we want the flow component to show the next screen, the second one. So now if I click it, you see that it shows the next screen, but it also adds this native iOS animation. You basically get this for free using Framer library. So now I'm going to do something really scary. I'm going to copy paste code. I'm just going to change these variables a bit, like change from screen 2 to screen 3 and screen 3 to screen 4. And I mean, this is not what you would usually do in building your apps, right? You don't copy paste it, you find an abstraction that makes this work. But we don't care about that. We just want to build something and want to get it to work. And copy pasting is the best solution in this case. So now you see I can like quickly click on these screens and go to the next one. But I can't yet go back. So let's add another button, or another image that we'll use as a button. And let's position that for a bit. So we can actually drag around this, this layer. And then you'll see that the code will get generated on the left. So that's really easy to positioning things. You don't need to always like specify the X and the Y position by hand, but you can just position it somewhere. Now we add some interaction to this layer. And we say back.onClick. We want the flow component to show the previous one. And now I can like click through it and also go back in this. So this is a really easy way if you have some simple screens that you want to quickly show like in which order they are and have like a native experience. And you can preview this on your device or share it through our cloud services as well. So what if you don't have like images, like static images that you want to use, but you got a sketch file from your designer and you want to play around with that. So here I have this sketch file that has like a couple of layer groups, which mimics the camera application or the camera roll application of iOS, the Photos application. So if I start up a new Framer project, I can easily import it. It will take the frontmost document in Sketch and import that. So I designed this for iPhone 7 Plus. So let's take a gold iPhone 7 Plus. We have a really nice set of devices also built in. So you can switch around to them quickly. We even have hands to show, like if you're demoing this, you want to have like some context for that. So now I have like imported all these layers, and here you see that that on the right we have the same layer structure that we had in Sketch. We copied that into Framer. So now we're going to add some new states to this. So first let's move the navigation bar out of the way, and then let's add a state to the tab bar to move it out of the way. And lastly add a state to the photo and just scale it up a little bit. Okay, cool. Now these states have are automatically named, but let's name them something better. Let's name them hidden, and the photo, let's call it large. And now we're going to add some interaction. So we're going to add an event, which is an on-click handler. And then when that event happens, we're going to change the state of the navigation bar to hidden. We're going to animate the state of the tab bar to hidden. And we're going to animate the photo to large. So as you might have noticed, I didn't write any code here. I just like used our tools to auto-generate it and position the stuff like I want to. So as a designer, you can really easily get stuff going. But as an engineer who already knows how to code but doesn't know the API, you can also use this to figure this out. And we also have, like on the right side here, we have a properties panel. I don't know if it's visible. Let's see. Yeah. We have a properties panel which shows you like all the things you can do with a layer, and it will automatically insert the right code for that. So back to the prototype, we now have something that will show the photo and like make it large, but this doesn't look really lively yet. So let's change this animation up a bit. Let's make the animation a little bit quicker for the moving out of the tab bar and the navigation bar. And then, well, let's do 22 here. And then when making the photo large, let's use a nice spring animation. And here you can see that you get a live preview of the animation, what the animation is actually going to look like once you change these values. So again, this direct manipulation and directly getting feedback on how it's going to look is really really nice here. So I can like tweak around with this a bit and leave this. And then you can see that, well, this all works together in the prototype as well. And now we can like play around with it. Like we can say, well, what happens if we not just like change the size of the photo, but also like rotate it a bit? What just happens then? Well, and then it will like animate and rotate this image every time we click it. Well, this might not be the best design, but that's not the point here. The point is that we can really quickly like iterate and know what or like try stuff out that we wanna build. So this technology of generating the code for you while you're dragging stuff around, we call it autocode. But this is not the only thing it can do. Let's take it on steroids. So I'm gonna have this example here, which is just basically a list of items that can be scrolled. We call this a scroll component. Here's some code to set it up, to add a navigation bar to it. And then we just have a for loop. This is just code. We can generate layers inside of a for loop. And we have like multiple layers to scroll around with. So now what we can do is not only change like a single layer, but this layer is in a for loop, and we actually analyze that. So you can, for example, if I want to change the border radius, you can change that, and you see that the border radius of all the related layers to that change as well. So here I can make it like this and change the size a bit, or just position it, and you see like all the layers follow this. So now I'm gonna rotate it a bit, which might seem a bit weird, but you'll get why we'll do that later. And we're gonna add an animation. So we say layer.animate, and then we're gonna set the rotation to 0 again. So here you see that the animation will work. But we don't want to animate them all at the same time. We're gonna say options delay, and we're gonna delay them by the index of the list that they are in. So now they will if you see this, they will iterate, or they will like one by one change the animation. So now we can edit this animation as well. So here you have like this preview of this animation and like make it like a spring animation. But what we first can do is like change move them in of the move them in the screen as well. So we're only going to position them when we animate them, and we're going to set the Y position to the scroll.height. So now you see like they move in and they bounce a bit when they move in. And if I want to tweak this animation, I can easily do so by just like tweaking around with these string values and like making it feel really slow and like bouncing like wavy in, or just making it really fast and snappy by adjusting the time. And I can make it really springy as well, or just like really slowly, like this. And the whole point of this is that like if I'm exploring new ideas and if I'm exploring new designs, I really want to be able to test these things out quickly. Okay, that's the demo I want to show. Let's continue with the presentation. Oh wait, now I need to change my displays again. Yes. Okay, these are some simple examples, but people are prototyping much, much more. Not only multi-touch and motion, but also user input, and not only with a keyboard or a mouse, but also with speech, MIDI hardware, or even Xbox controllers. And because it is web-based, you can even access an API to work with real data. When you're using code to create your designs, your possibilities are literally endless. But people are not just exploring new things. They're actually building real products with Framer as well. So it is used by Facebook to design the reactions on their live videos. And what they did, they let their testers log in with their Facebook account so they could show the friends of their testers giving reactions during the use of this prototype. This allowed for really accurate feedback and made the transition from design to engineering much smoother. So Google used it to design their custom keyboard, Gboard, and to test out ideas. And because they needed zero engineering effort, they could really quickly iterate on designs. But it doesn't stop there. You can use it not only to design apps, but also website, or apply it much broader. And most interesting are new technologies like virtual reality. We have a VR component that really easily gets you set up with prototyping for VR. But people are connecting to Internet of Things devices to Framer prototypes as well, and even use it to test out machine learning or artificial intelligence tasks, like speech recognition and interaction and conversational interfaces. Because of this, code is still the best tool for design. And as a great additional benefit, designs already being written in code, is that you can look at the code to extract the intent of the designer when you actually start developing the app. As a designer, learning to code is a valuable skill as well, even outside of Framer. So, next feature that you build, try out a prototype first, so your designer never has to make this phase again. If you're excited to try it, please go to framer.com/download. This would be a great picture to do. Snap a picture of this promo code, because there's a free trial for 14 days. But with this promo code, you can try it for 2 months. And if you're a student, we offer a 50% discount as well. I still see some phones coming up. So I keep it around. Cool. On framer.com/download, you also find links to our guides, which are an awesome way to learn and to get started with Framer. And if you have questions, we have a great community as well. There's a Facebook group with almost 20,000 users and a Slack channel where you can get answers really quickly. And of course, you can always ping me on Twitter. Thank you very much, and I'm really happy to answer your questions right here in front of the stage or during lunch later today. Thank you very much.